Millionaire CEO Alexander Stone had everything, except a date to his ex-fiancée's wedding. When a clumsy coffee shop girl spills hot coffee on his expensive shirt, he makes her an offer, $2,000 to be his fake girlfriend for one night. Neither expected to fall in love for real. Alexander Stone stood in his corner office on the 45th floor, staring at the golden wedding invitation in his hands. His jaw clenched as he read the names printed in elegant script. Victoria Hamilton and Marcus Williams request your presence. Victoria. His ex-fiancée. The woman who had left him 3 years ago, claiming he cared more about his business empire than their relationship. Now she was marrying his former best friend and business partner. Sir? His assistant knocked on the door. Your 2 p.m. meeting is here. Alex crumpled the invitation and threw it in the trash. Cancel all my meetings for today, Sarah. I need to find a date. A date, sir? Yes. For this weekend. Someone impressive. Sarah looked confused but nodded. As she left, Alex realized how pathetic he sounded. The great Alexander Stone, CEO of Stone Industries, worth over $200 million, couldn't find a simple date. He grabbed his coat and stormed out of the building. The rain was pouring heavily as Alex walked without direction through downtown. His expensive suit was getting soaked, but he didn't care. He needed air, space to think. Lost in his thoughts, he didn't see the girl rushing out of the small coffee shop until they collided hard. Hot coffee splashed everywhere, mainly on his white shirt. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. The girl's voice was panicked as she looked at the damage. Your shirt is ruined. Alex looked down at his now brown-stained shirt, then at the girl in front of him. She had shoulder-length brown hair, bright green eyes behind black-rimmed glasses, and was wearing a simple blue dress with a coffee shop apron. She was beautiful in a natural, unpretentious way that made something stir in his chest. It's fine, he said, surprised by his own calm tone. No, it's not fine. That shirt probably costs more than my monthly rent. She was frantically digging through her small purse. I can pay for dry cleaning or... What's your name? Alex interrupted. She looked up, startled. Emma. Emma Clark. And I really am sorry about your shirt. Emma? He repeated her name, liking how it sounded. How would you like to make it up to me? Her eyes narrowed suspiciously. What do you mean? Be my date to a wedding this Saturday. Emma stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Are you serious? I just met you and you're asking me to a wedding? Yes. Why? Alex studied her face. She wasn't impressed by his expensive clothes or confident manner. If anything, she seemed annoyed. Because I need a date and you owe me a shirt. That's the worst reason I've ever heard. Emma crossed her arms. Who are you anyway? Alexander Stone. Her expression didn't change. Should I know that name? For the first time in years, Alex smiled genuinely. Apparently not. Look, Mr. Stone, was it? I appreciate the offer, but I don't go to weddings with complete strangers. Emma turned to go back into the coffee shop. Wait. Alex caught her arm gently. I'll pay you. She spun around, her green eyes flashing with anger. Excuse me? $1,000. Just for one evening. Emma's mouth fell open. You think you can buy me? I think you're a college student who works in a coffee shop and probably needs the money. Alex's business instincts kicked in. Am I wrong? Emma's cheeks flushed red. She was quiet for a long moment, and Alex could see her internal struggle. Finally she spoke. 2,000. And we set ground rules. Deal. Alex felt a strange satisfaction at her negotiation. What rules? First, this is purely business. No funny stuff. Second, you tell me exactly what this wedding is about and why you need a fake date. Third, I get to leave whenever I want. Agreed. But I have one condition too. What? You have to make them believe we're really together. Emma hesitated. How, together? Alex stepped closer, noticing how she didn't back away despite her obvious nervousness. Convincingly together. The next few days were a whirlwind. Alex had sent Emma to the best boutique in the city with his credit card and a note. Pick something that will make every man in the room jealous. Emma had texted back, this feels wrong. Alex had replied, just trust me. Now, as Alex adjusted his black tuxedo in the mirror of his penthouse apartment, he wondered if he was making a mistake. He hadn't seen Emma since their coffee shop encounter, and he'd spent more time thinking about her than he cared to admit. The doorbell rang. Alex opened it and felt his breath catch. Emma stood in the hallway wearing a midnight blue dress that hugged her curves perfectly. Her hair was styled in an elegant updo, and she traded her glasses for contacts. She looked stunning, but what struck him most was that she still looked like herself, natural and genuine. "You clean up nice," she said, looking him up and down. "So do you." Alex's voice came out rougher than intended. Emma's cheeks turned pink. "So, are you going to tell me about this wedding now?" Alex led her to his car, a sleek black Mercedes. As they drove, he explained about Victoria, about their broken engagement, about how she was now marrying Marcus. "So this is all about making your ex jealous?" Emma asked. "Partly. And the other part?" Alex was quiet for a moment. "Pride, I suppose." Emma studied his profile as he drove. "You loved her." It wasn't a question. Alex's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "I thought I did." The wedding was being held at the Grand Plaza Hotel, one of the most exclusive venues in the city. As Alex and Emma walked into the elegant ballroom, heads turned. Emma felt incredibly out of place despite her beautiful dress. "Relax," Alex whispered in her ear, his breath warm against her skin. "You look perfect." Before Emma could respond, a tall blonde woman in a white wedding dress approached them. Even Emma could tell this was Victoria. She had the kind of polished beauty that belonged on magazine covers. "Alex." Victoria's smile was bright but cold. "I'm so glad you came." "Congratulations, Victoria." Alex's voice was equally cool. "You remember Emma, don't you?" Emma felt Alex's arms slide around her waist, pulling her closer. The lie came easily. "We've been together for almost a year now." Victoria's eyes narrowed as she looked Emma up and down. "How lovely. I don't think we've met." "Emma Clark." Emma extended her hand, surprised by her own confidence. "Alex talks about you sometimes." "Does he?" Victoria's smile became sharper. "All good things, I hope." "Of course," Emma replied sweetly. "He's told me so much about your history together." Alex squeezed Emma's waist, impressed by her quick thinking. "Well," Victoria said, her composure slipping slightly, "I should get back to my guests. Enjoy the wedding." As Victoria walked away, Emma let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "That was perfect," Alex murmured in her ear. "She's beautiful," Emma said quietly. "Yes, she is." Emma felt a strange pang in her chest at his agreement, though she couldn't understand why. The reception was in full swing when Alex led Emma to the dance floor. The band was playing a slow, romantic song, and couples swayed together under the dim lights. "I should warn you," Emma said as Alex pulled her into his arms, "I'm not a great dancer. Just follow my lead." As they moved together, Emma became acutely aware of everything about Alex. His strong hands on her waist, the way he smelled like expensive cologne and something uniquely him, the way he looked at her like she was the only woman in the room. "Why did you really ask me to come tonight?" Emma asked softly. Alex was quiet for a moment. "Honestly? I'm not sure anymore." Their eyes met, and Emma felt something electric pass between them. This was supposed to be fake, just business, but the way Alex was looking at her made her feel things she'd never experienced before. "Alex," she whispered. "I know," he said, his voice rough. "I feel it too." The song ended, but they didn't move apart. They stood there, staring at each other, until someone cleared their throat behind them. "Alex, old friend." They turned to see Marcus Williams, the groom, approaching with Victoria by his side. "Marcus." Alex's voice was carefully neutral. "I have to say, I was surprised to get your RSVP. I wasn't sure you'd come." "Wouldn't miss it," Alex replied smoothly. Marcus's eyes moved to Emma. "And you must be the reason Alex has been so unavailable lately." Emma felt Alex tense beside her. There was clearly history here that went deeper than just the engagement. "Emma's been keeping me busy," Alex said, his arm tightening possessively around her waist. "I bet she has." Marcus's smile was unpleasant. "It's funny how quickly people move on, isn't it, Victoria?" Victoria looked uncomfortable. "Marcus." "What?" "I'm just saying it's interesting how Alex found someone so different from you." Emma felt her temper flare. She might be fake dating Alex, but she wasn't going to stand there and be insulted. "Different can be good," she said coolly. "It means Alex learned from his mistakes." The silence that followed was deafening. Victoria's face went white, Marcus looked furious, and Alex stared at Emma with something like awe. "If you'll excuse us," Alex said finally, "Emma and I were just leaving." Alex drove in silence for several minutes before pulling over in a parking lot overlooking the city. "I'm sorry," Emma said quietly. "I shouldn't have said that." "Are you kidding? That was the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed." Alex turned to face her. "Marcus deserved it." "What did he do to you?" Alex was quiet for a long moment. He didn't just steal Victoria. He stole my company's biggest client, took 3 of my top employees, and started his own firm using information he learned while working for me. And Victoria knew? She was in on it. The whole time she was with me, she was feeding him information. Alex's voice was bitter. I found out the day before our wedding. Emma felt her heart break for him. Alex. The worst part is I convinced myself I loved her. But looking back, I think I just loved the idea of her. The perfect wife for the perfect CEO. That's not love. No, it's not. Alex looked at Emma intently. This weekend with you? This feels more real than anything I had with Victoria. Emma's heart started racing. Alex, we barely know each other. Then let's change that. Alex reached for her hand. Have dinner with me tomorrow. A real date, not a business arrangement. Emma stared at their joined hands. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because you're you and I'm me. Emma pulled her hand away. You live in penthouses and drive expensive cars. I work in a coffee shop and live in a studio apartment. Whatever this is, it's not real life. It could be. Could it? What happens when you get bored? When you realize I don't fit in your world? Alex cupped her face gently. Emma, you're the first real thing that's happened to me in years. Please don't walk away from this. Emma closed her eyes, leaning into his touch despite herself. I'm scared. So am I. Alex drove Emma home in comfortable silence. When they reached her small apartment building, he walked her to the door. Thank you, he said. For tonight, for what you said to Marcus, for everything. Emma nodded, not trusting her voice. She turned to go inside, but Alex caught her hand. Emma, wait. She turned back to him, and before she could think, he leaned down and kissed her. It was soft and gentle at first, then deeper as she responded. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. That wasn't part of our deal, Emma whispered. No, it wasn't. Alex rested his forehead against hers. I'm sorry. I'm not. They stared at each other for a moment before Emma stepped back. I need time to think, she said. Of course. But Emma? Yes. Don't think too long. Emma spent the next week avoiding Alex's calls and texts. She threw herself into work, picking up extra shifts at the coffee shop, but she couldn't stop thinking about him. Her roommate and best friend, Lisa, finally confronted her. Okay, what's going on? You've been moping around here for days. Emma told her everything, the wedding, the fake dating arrangement, the kiss. Wait, Lisa said when Emma finished. You're telling me that a gorgeous millionaire wants to date you for real, and you're hiding in our apartment eating ice cream? It's complicated. How is it complicated? You like him, he likes you. Lisa, you don't understand. He lives in a completely different world. So, maybe it's time you stepped out of your comfort zone. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what Lisa had said, about the way Alex had looked at her, about how she'd felt in his arms. The next morning, Emma was working the early shift at the coffee shop when the bell above the door chimed. She looked up, expecting to see a regular customer, but instead saw Alex. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept much either. He was wearing jeans and a simple sweater instead of his usual expensive suits, and somehow that made him even more attractive. Hi, he said simply. Hi. Emma's heart was racing. What are you doing here? I brought you something. Alex held out a small wrapped box. Emma hesitated before taking it. Inside was a simple silver necklace with a small pendant shaped like a coffee cup. It's not expensive, Alex said quickly. I wanted to give you something that reminded me of how we met. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. Alex, I know you need time and I respect that. But I also know that what we have is worth fighting for. Alex stepped closer. I don't care about our different worlds. I care about you. Emma looked up at him, seeing sincerity in his dark eyes. What if it doesn't work? What if it does? Emma stared at the necklace in her hands, then at Alex's hopeful face. Her heart was pounding, but for the first time in days, her mind was clear. Okay, she said softly. Okay, let's try this. One real date. Alex's face lit up with the biggest smile she'd ever seen from him. Really? Really? But I have conditions. Name them. We take this slow. No pressure, no expectations. Just see what happens. Deal? Alex reached out and gently fastened the necklace around her neck. Have dinner with me tonight? Emma nodded, not trusting her voice. I'll pick you up at 7. And Emma? Where whatever makes you comfortable. We're not trying to impress anyone but each other. That evening, Alex took Emma to a small Italian restaurant tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't fancy or expensive, but the food was amazing and the atmosphere was intimate. "How did you find this place?" Emma asked as they shared a plate of pasta. "I've been walking around the city a lot lately thinking about you." Alex smiled sheepishly. "I saw this place and thought you'd like it." "You were right." Emma twirled pasta around her fork. "It's perfect." They talked for hours, about Emma's studies in literature, about Alex's work, about their families and dreams and fears. Emma found herself relaxing, laughing at Alex's stories about his early business failures. "I can't imagine you failing at anything," she said. "Trust me, I've failed plenty. The difference is I learned from my mistakes." Alex reached across the table and took her hand. "Victoria was my biggest mistake, but it led me to you." Emma felt her cheeks warm. "You don't know me well enough to say that. Then let me get to know you better." After dinner they walked along the waterfront hand in hand. The city lights reflected on the water, and Emma felt like she was in a fairy tale. "Thank you," she said as they sat on a bench overlooking the harbor. "For what?" "For making me feel like I could be part of your world." Alex turned to face her. "Emma, you don't need to fit into my world. I want to be part of yours." Before Emma could respond, Alex kissed her again. This time she didn't hesitate to kiss him back. Emma laughed as Alex tried to make coffee using her old machine in their shared apartment, a compromise between his penthouse and her studio. "You're hopeless," she said, taking over. "That's why I need you." Alex wrapped his arms around her from behind as she worked. "Just for coffee making?" "Among other things." Alex nuzzled her neck, making her giggle. Emma had quit the coffee shop and was finishing her master's degree with Alex's support and encouragement. She'd also started writing, something she'd always dreamed of but never had time for. "I have news," Alex said, his voice suddenly serious. Emma turned in his arms. "What kind of news?" "I heard from Sarah yesterday. Victoria and Marcus are getting divorced." Emma studied his face. "How do you feel about that?" "Relieved that I dodged that bullet." Alex cupped her face. "And grateful that their betrayal led me to you." "No regrets." "Only one." Emma's heart skipped. "What?" Alex smiled and pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. "That it took me so long to realize what real love feels like." Emma gasped as he dropped to one knee. "Emma Clark, you are the most real, most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. You make me want to be better, to deserve you. Will you marry me?" Through her tears, Emma could only nod. As Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, she realized that sometimes the best things in life happen when you least expect them. Their kiss was interrupted by the sound of coffee overflowing from the machine, but neither of them cared. They had found something worth more than all the money in the world. They had found true love. As Alex held Emma in his arms, he knew that this time he had chosen right. This time it was real. And this time it was forever.